House of the Dragon wrapped up just a few weeks ago, and we're already feeling separation anxiety. Although it's nice to know that it's drawing a lot of positive feedback compared to its predecessor. And for today's video, we'll be discussing how House of the Dragon handles sex way better than Game of Thrones. Plus, we get to know which of the series' scenes rank best, so keep watching for more. So, let's talk about how House of the Dragon is known for handling much better than Game of Thrones, which is a well-known truth. There was violence and gore in almost every Game of Thrones scene. House of the Dragon has retreated from the and that have become a trademark of the Game of Thrones series. All of the HOTD on-screen sequences we have seen so far are gentle and sweet. Between Rhaenyra and Daemon, take one. The initial kiss is shown on a somewhat dark screen as they tenderly strip while gazing into one another's eyes. Then, we witness bare skin and intense passion. Everything appears to be fine, except that the uncle and niece are having One has every right to object to incest being normalized. But as Daemon Targaryen actor Matt Smith said, I guess you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? Are you representing the books, or are you diluting the books to represent the time we're living in? Like Smith, one of the younger actresses in the series, Emily Carey, who portrayed the young Alicent Hightower, also praised HOTD's intimacy coordinator for helping them down during the racy bed scenes. In an interview with Newsweek, Carey revealed that the first scene she read from the show was her intimate scenes and scenes when she was just 17 years old. And here's what the actress had to say about the experience. To be able to talk everything through and not be shunned or not feel awkward or not feel like, oh, this isn't your job, I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but can I ask you? It was never any of that, it was just that open dialogue. Many fans accused Game of Thrones of using inappropriate and violence. Some people ask why the showrunners included pointless scenes that weren't present in the source material. Trenchcoat Turtle, a Redditor, even commented on it and claimed that the female protagonists get stronger due to surviving. However, Sansa, Cersei, and Daenerys weren't even sexually assaulted in the books. The Redditor above even brought up how the creators of Game of Thrones had 10,000 pages of the fascinating and great source material, but decided to omit a groundbreaking scene in favor of shock value and drama. Some Redditors think that the showrunners of Game of Thrones, David B. Weiss and David Benioff, added gratuitous and violence to the series because they wanted the show to appeal to jocks and people in bars watching the episodes. Therefore, they purposely reduced the fantasy components. Ryan Condal has been clear from the beginning that there will be and violence in the plot, but they wanted to ensure that there is always a compelling story explanation for it. In contrast to Game of Thrones, the plot was developed via violence and compared to Game of Thrones Season 1 was chaste, and we couldn't agree more. We'll probably witness more because the HOTD showrunner promised more action in Season 2. The question is, will they be able to uphold their moral standards? Season 2 has begun production and won't wrap up until the summer of 2023. Therefore, Season 2 might debut in 2024. So until then, we'll just have to wait and see. And since we're talking about scenes, let's talk about the steamiest scenes in House of the Dragon. Which one is the best? Keep watching to find out more. Throughout its 10-year run on television, Game of Thrones was renowned for its violence and violent. The creators of House of the Dragon knew that their successor would have much to live up to, despite their efforts to downplay some of its less appealing elements. Although there is a lot of blood and gore in the program, thankfully, the scenes from Season 1 of House of the Dragon have mostly been kept apart from those. The first season of House of the Dragon spans 30 years, starting at the beginning of the 2nd century AC and ending in the year 129. Viserys was designated as the king's heir during that time, and he and his wife Aemma produced a daughter named Rhaenyra, whom he designated as his heir. In the meantime, Rhaenyra married and had 3 children with 2 separate spouses. He later had 4 children with his second wife, Alicent, who was Rhaenyra's childhood best friend. Daemon, her second husband, married 3 times and fathered 2 children. When the plot of the series slowed, Alicent and Viserys' 2 oldest children also tied the knot. So where are we getting at by stating these, you ask? To put it briefly, there was a lot of reproduction. Mistresses and consorts were kept and rejected. Romantic relationships began and terminated. There was a lot of submitted for the show to use, and while not all of it was used, some of it was hot. Other moments, though, were categorically not. We'll go over all the key encounters in the show and assign each one a fire rating. Starting from the bottom, we have Aegon's scene out the window. The scene with Alicent's oldest son Aegon, performed by Ty Tennant, is the least sexy of all the sequences. Like any other ordinary teen, his mother discovered him masturbating, but it's openly out the window, not beneath the covers or in the bathroom. The show purposely chose to make it upsetting and embarrassing. It serves as a preview of Aegon's later, mercifully off-camera actions in which he assaulted a young castle employee. Moving forward with a slightly better scene, Alicent fulfills her marital duties with Viserys late at night. Some viewers found it difficult to watch Alicent perform her wifely duties with Viserys, especially since Rhaenyra is enjoying a terrific first experience in bed, which we'll go into later. It's not violent or anything. Rather, Alicent seems bored and wishes it would end now as she and Viserys try to produce yet another child. Next, we also have Daemon and Mysaria's affair. The hotter scenes involve Daemon and his mistress Mysaria, which is sexy but strange. The single interaction in the series' first episode is loud, with Mysaria yelling and Daemon thrusting carelessly as if he wanted to ensure the people in the front row could see it. Now we move on to the third steamiest scene in the series, Daemon and Rhaenyra at the brothel. Despite the age and incest, this sequence is quite compelling. Rhaenyra is taken to a brothel by Daemon to prove to her that marriage has advantages. Although they don't have intercourse, he has to peel away from her because he can't keep his hands off her. She returns to her room in frustration as he leaves to get drunk. And now the second steamiest in the list is Rhaenyra and Sir Criston Cole's first time. Sir Criston Cole, who appears to be experiencing a fairy tale, feels Rhaenyra's need for satisfaction while she waits outside her bedroom in place of her uncle. Their sexual encounter is the antithesis of what happened earlier at the brothel. There are chuckles and tender whispers, pillows and sheets are flying. The kind of romance novel sex where everyone will live happily ever after as soon as it is over is almost too precious to be hot. And it's all set against Alicent, who was denied that bliss, quietly performing her role with Viserys. And topping today's steamiest sex scene is none other than Rhaenyra and Daemon's sequence inside the tent. The darkest scenario is by far the hottest, literally. Rhaenyra was forced to wed her first husband even though she didn't want to. If she could have her way, she would have had Daemon abduct her before she married Laenor. But perhaps waiting was the wiser course of action. By the time they could get married, Rhaenyra was an adult with a spouse in her bed and children from a different relationship. She knows who she is, what she desires, and what fulfills and dissatisfies her. It was worth the wait since Daemon was the only man for her, and their scene in the tent where they finally had their sexual fulfillment was worth it. Looking at today's list, we have to agree that House of the Dragon's scenes are better compared to its predecessor, knowing how violent and unnecessary it was. We're wrapping up today's video about House of the Dragon. Which relationship do you expect to bloom next season? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching today's video, and before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. See you next time!